Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4, or at least I think it's episode 4. I already posted a few auctions. I wasn't actually using any operations to do so, so what I would do is I just come here, I would shift, click on that, and then I would just say, hey, click on the first one, post, let me do 10 for now. And so I'm just matching whatever the current lowest price is. And you can actually, that's not a bad way to post things. You can actually click on a farther one down if you want, and you can post one at a higher, maybe a higher breakpoint if you actually want to as well. Excuse me. But the thing is this is a lot of tedious work to do that. And what would be better is to just say, hey, hit run post scan and post all your auctions. So that's what this episode is going to be about. So just wanted to point out I already had some sales already. It's actually showing some vendor sales here as well. So let's deselect all, and in the ledger, which is kind of handy to kind of to go back to and oops, I'm not. Let me. All right, so I've sold some Major Oil. You can see per item, it's actually pretty good price. So basically, I've given myself a little bit of breathing room with the amount of gold I have. But anyway, so what you want to do is you want to go in and start creating some groups. Now I did some base ones here. The problem is that there's a lot of items in the game. Probably easily 10,000, maybe 30 or 40, 50,000. Who knows? But I would say even based on item ID that there's I know that goes up to over 100,000. So anyway, the great thing about groups is that you can make some sort of hierarchy. So I'm going to call this, let's call this materials. It could be crafting reagents. You can name it whatever you want. The advantage, the reason I use like a 0 at the front is that that's going to move this all the way to the top, and everything else is going to be in alphabetical order. So typically numbers and punctuation come before letters, and I think punctuation actually comes before numbers as well. So what I'm wanting to do, let's make this a leather group. So these are going to be leather materials, and then under here, do I want to do light leather, or maybe I just want to do vanilla? So how you organize things is up to you. Maybe I want to call this 0 vanilla, so that when I go in and I put Cataclysm or Wrath, some of the other expansions, I can organize them that way. And maybe there's a how many I want to post. So in here, I'm going to add my light leather, and let me go ahead and add my black whelp scale, since that's part of it. So let's go and create an operation. We're going to create a new operation. Now, the one thing I've noticed about the auctioning operations and all the operations this applies to is that this is just on a flat level. There's not any kind of grouping associated to it. So you're going to want to come up with some sort of naming convention. And probably what you want to do, so like I would maybe you could pick X for transmog, or I'm probably going to pick a T for a transmog. I'm going to use X for materials. You could use for like crafting gear, crafted gear or crafted items. You could use a C. and then maybe for uh, something else, you can, what, just some way to organize things so that at least to you can keep them straight. And then you might want to have, let's say next, you're going to want to have some number that you're going to want to post. So let's say I want to post, uh, maybe the most I'm going to post of something is 1,000 or 5,000. So maybe if I'm posting 10, we can call this X is the start, and then 10 is going to be the amount we post, and then we kind of want to have some sort of some other qualification that maybe kind of tells us what this operation is going to be doing. So it's going to be posting 10. How about, and then we're going to use DB market, and then it's going to be 48 hours. All right, so we come in here, we're going to change this to 48 hours. We're going to change post cap to 10. You can, and like what I think I said before, you can maybe set this bid price maybe a little lower. Sometimes that might actually get you some more sales. So if people are looking at the default UI, maybe that price might come up a little bit ahead of others. I'd have to actually check on that. And let's look at this. So it's got those numbers there. Their minimum is probably fine, but so what I'd like to do is maybe build upon what their operation is. And they use a lot of different things. Min, since this isn't a crafting item, we can take that off. Vendor sell is probably something we want to keep on there as well, because you don't want to actually post something for less than what it vendors for. Let's add a little spaces here to see, just so we can kind of, maybe a little bit easier to read. So maybe instead of these averages, typically DB market is going to be, I'm not sure why that's showing up as, so minimum. So I actually want to take, I don't want to take the minimum here, so probably want to take the maximum. So that's going to be a maximum of 6.65. Well, that's probably not going to sell. So what we probably want to do is do an average of DB market, and we kind of maybe, with commodities and crafting reagents, you may want to be a lot closer to DB market than you are going to be closer to the DB region market averages. So you might want to put in a couple of DB markets here. And then we don't typically want to post right at DB market, so we kind of want to maybe float down to as far as maybe half of that, or let's say 30%. So you can either use 30.3 or 30%. So either one works. Sometimes it's easier to just, I think I like using numbers like that, and maybe even put a 0 in front so that it's a little, like again, a little easier to read. And then maybe vendor sell, instead of for if I'm going to post it as low as vendor sell, um, I'm going to actually want to get a lot more for it. So let's do more like 5 times vendor sell. Okay, so we have our low number there, 1.87, and that's actually a little bit somewhat below the region sale average. So that's probably fine. The next, so we're going to use that, and we're going to copy it over to the normal, and then copy that over to the maximum. And then over here, instead of, maybe we'll use 1. Let's see how that goes. That's right at the market average. So let's maybe put that up a little bit. That's 1.4. So that might be a little too high, but and then maybe maximum. Let's see what 3.0 looks like. So you're kind of fine-tuning your operations here to match what you're wanting to sell these items at. Sometimes you don't want to go a little bit too high, or too low, or something like that. So it's fine tuning is what it basically is. So now that we have that in the operation, let's go to our auction house here. We can unclick those and press. So I've already got 10 on the auction house. They haven't been undercut, and then it's wanting to post these the scales that I have. So let's click OK, and so that posted. So that is just the bare bones basic of creating an operation. And so when you do that for everything, then hopefully your bags are empty, and you're just waiting on sales. So I think I'm going to wait and do another video where I'll put a lot more of these items in, and come back to another video to show how I've got it set up, so you can either mimic what I've got there. Excuse me. I'm not used to talking all the time, but anyway, and I'll clean up some of this other stuff and maybe make so you can kind of see what I'm starting with, and we'll get into some further details on that. So anyway, take care. Have a great day.